the recording's up, and I'll just be a minute or so looking for something to talk about. Okay. Here, just like you can chalk a couple of these up into like awareness. Like here, we chuck a nade in when there's kind of nobody there to throw the nade at, and then we do a little bit of overhealing when Zen's full HP. So watching health bars, so we go heal shot, heal shot, heal shot, heal shot. Right, everybody's full HP at the moment, so just watching stuff like that. Right, keep watching their health bars so we're not overhealing. Oh, are you stuck right now? That's weird.
Yeah.
That's a very, very awkward
I was
spot
like,
to get stuck in.
guys, I'm in a tree. I don't even know how I got out, but
I didn't know you could climb trees in Overwatch. Okay, so you go all up in the air. Good anti-nade, you get on 2 of the enemies, so that was a good anti-nade. Maybe could have tried to go for a sleep at some point here. One thing remembering, just like because they're not on anything that can contest you, really, nothing's gonna go into your backline and get on top of you. We can be very liberal with throwing them in. Obviously not wasting them, but they're noticing how we're throwing it after they're already around the corner, right? Like they get around this corner and then we throw it.
hmm
So watching stuff like that.
Taking care of you.
All right. So we can slow this down a hair. Um. So firstly, positioning. So what are we've talked about positioning before, right? And we've gone over Ana before. I see. Okay, we did Ana, Kiriko, Mercy, Ana. Okay, so we've gone over Ana like a bunch, right?
hmm
So, we have gone over Ana's positioning, and Ana's positioning is trying to check off as many boxes as possible, right? As we're going through. So, let's think through this positioning we chose, because positioning we chose is behind the little car here. Okay, so from behind this car, do you have cover?
a bit.
A bit. Like it's okay. It's not the best, right? It's very very tiny. You can still get damaged probably. Can you see your team from behind the car?
Half of them.
Yeah, which I mean, like the main thing is that you can turn around. So yes, this is what's going for you. You do have visibility in all your teammates, right? But like you said, like you kind of have to like from this position, you kind of have to like left, right them, right? So that
hmm
hurts a little bit, right? So that's a little bit of a negative, but you can see them all, so that's a positive. Um, from this position, can you line of sight the enemy team? Like, can they see you if you're healing your teammates? It kind of
No,
Yeah,
I think
that kind of goes back to like what we were talking about with cover usage. Yeah, you have cover here. Can you land abilities effectively, like more effectively than average from here?
no.
No, not really. It doesn't put you in the best place to use abilities. What about after we run out into the open here? Now, do we have cover?
No.
No. Okay. Can you land abilities any better?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like maybe like by like 5% better or something like that. You know, you're a little bit closer, but it doesn't really like open up different angles or anything like that. You're throwing a nade from here versus throwing it from here is gonna be pretty much the same thing for the most part. Um, okay, so so then which position is better, here or here?
I say behind.
Behind the chart. Okay, so that's the first thing. Now, Um, if we is behind the car like the best position you could be thinking through right now? Is there anywhere else we could be going that are other options?
I say further back by the statue.
For the back by the statue, like over here. Okay. So this now means that you can see all of your teammates, right? So you still have visibility. You still have line of sight, right? Does this have more or less cover, or is this more or less safe than behind the car?
Mm, probably a little more because I could get out quicker.
Okay, so a little bit safer than behind the car. Okay. Does this open up for good angles to use your abilities? Does this, or is this which one out of these two is better for abilities?
Um, Probably the car.
Yeah, probably the car, because this is like really far back and you just lose. You can't really. The only way you can throw an ability is like down here, right? Okay, so those are some trade-offs. Maybe in one they're both even-ish, right? Because there's pros and cons to each. Okay, what about something like positioning over here? Where from this position, right? From this position, we have visibility on all of our team, right? Where we can heal. We put the enemy team out of our line of sight, and they can't see us. But if we tried to use an ability, we could come into this, assuming they're not in this room, because if they're in this room, then we probably want to like run towards our teammates and be over here, right? That we probably don't want to be standing here if they're right there. But presuming that they're like over where they were before, right? If they're over in this section, then we can take this really quick off angle and chuck in a nade through this to this room over here, and then just be back with our team, right? So this opens up our ability to land abilities effectively, as well as having really good cover, as well as being able to see your teammates. So I would say this is probably your best position to be in at the moment. And then if you see, oh, they're coming into this room, then I just run towards like these guys and then come stand over like by statue. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's once again thinking through like how many boxes are we checking off, and it'd be definitely better to like this would be better than where you're standing right now, but then this would probably be the best. But because there's people in there, well, now that changes, right? That's why positioning sometimes is dynamic. What's the best spot in one circumstance might not be the best spot in another circumstance, right? So that is probably where we should be going at the moment. Okay. Probably not. I think maybe you're trying to go for like a self-heal anti-nade, but we just throw it a little too far forwards. Probably you can just get your auto healing going if you're sitting behind cart. Maybe nade's not even needed at all because I don't think your teammates are really in lower in danger there. Okay, so then we get caught out first there because we kind of were out in the open. We never got ourselves healed back up, so we're half HP. So we're too far forwards, out in the open, half HP. We waste our sleep. It was just barely, but might be better to like save the sleep for like when they're like right here when he's trying to swing on you,
Mhm.
because that's when he's gonna drop his shield to swing at you, and that helps your team out. Nice sleep. Very nice. Good abilities. Oh my goodness, you got shredded.
We were
Alright.
trying to take the high ground up there, and we took out the Rhine, so they were like, "Let's go," and then
Alright, so why do you die here? Because your Ryan dies. He kind of gets shredded. He gets blown up. Why do you die?
because I am not near cover, or I can't see the rest of my team either.
Yeah, I'd say the main, like, you're right. If you're near cover here, then you can run behind it um and get out out of line of sight. But the main thing here is that it seems like you're delayed in even noticing that there's an ultimate there at all, because you see Reinhardt blow up, and then notice that where you are right now, right? Reinhardt gets blown up, ultimate gets popped. You're right here. look how much further you run in kind of like this straight line. You go to where like Hanzo's at, right? So you move from right here all the way to where Hanzo's at, and then you kind of like stand there for a second, and then you back up. So I'd say that I chalk that up to awareness. Seeing as like it just kind of looks as though like we didn't notice that there's an ultimate, right? So keep your eyes and ears open. Reinhardt gets blown up, ultimate gets popped. That's time to back, right? Because if we backed like right now, then you'd be alive. Okay, watch overhealing. Use this time to reload. That way you have ammo. Notice how we're not, you know, everyone's full HP and we keep shooting shots. And now we're at like 4 ammo. Fight's about to start. We go into this fight. You know, we need to heal, and we have 2 shots left. Okay, so here, I'd say it looks like nobody really noticed you were over there. You probably could have hidden, but if you are gonna run here and try to get away, and this kind of comes down to like once again, like if you think you can get, if the fight's lost, get out. If you think you can get out, and if you don't think you can get out, then let them kill you, because then you just end up staggering yourself. Are you're familiar with the term? Yeah, so you died late, bad for your team, bad for you. So here we decide not to hide, we decide to run towards them. So it looks like you think you can get back to spawn, but I'd say it's probably not very likely, considering you have to go through like 5 enemies and walk through this big stretch of space to get back to spawn here. So if you were trying to get back to spawn, I mean, like, first, I just don't think you can get back to spawn. Yeah. So I think honestly you should have tried to hide, or if you were trying to die, to just run straight at them. And then that way it doesn't delay it longer. Okay. Lots of wasted spam shots that we're noticing, and then this is just gonna lead to like lack of value. So like notice how we go shot. I mean, there I think maybe we're trying to heal Zen, but we go like shot into like a beated Lucio, where like even if we hit Lucio there, it's probably not gonna do very much because he has his beat going. We're kind of like shooting blind into our Zen's trance. We go for a heal nade when Zenyatta is just trancing, so that's maybe a little bit of awareness of like maybe we don't even notice that Zen's trancing right there. So watching health bars, watching because remember, when should heal nades be used? Should heal nades be used whenever somebody needs a little bit of healing? When should we be using heal nades?
Critical.
Critical. Okay. If you have a teammate who's critical but they're over here, do you need to use a cooldown for that?
No.
No, probably not, because if your teammate's like all the way back here and they're safe, well then you can just normally heal them, and then that way you don't have to waste your really long cooldown. Is it 12 seconds now? They just upped it right recently.
I believe so.
It's like 12 seconds. Something like that. 12 seconds, yeah, there we go. 12 seconds. So 12-second cooldown, that's a long cooldown, so you won't have to waste it if your teammates are safe. So therefore you usually want to use it when your teammates are low and in danger. If they're not low, then you're not doing any healing, and if they're not in danger, then you can probably just normally heal them up. So low and in danger, and we're using it here when they're all full HP and not in danger. Nice.
have much to learn. Don't fret. I see you. Come over here. The Eye of Horus watches over you. I have you. Keep fighting.
Oh my goodness, he got shredded.
It's the bat ball.
Have you. Keep fighting.
Uh-oh, Reiner's in for the back shatter.
Healing you.
Okay. Now would be an absolutely perfect time to be nanoing your Reinhardt, because your Reinhardt is at any point here, right after their Reinhardt, after your Reinhardt is on top of their Reinhardt, right? So anytime right now would be great, because we can nano him, right? This is early in the fight, so remember, so timing wise with ultimates, beginning of the fight is best. Mid fight is okay, kind of depends a little bit. Late fight is situational. In between fights, usually don't want to use it. Right now, this is the start of the fight. The fight just began, right? As soon as the Reinhardt miss shatter and your Reinhardts are on top of each other, ults are flying. People are usually the biggest indication of where the fight's at is proximity, right? How close are people to each other? If your Reinhardt's there, their Reinhardt's there, the fight's begun, right? If your Reinhardt was all the way over here, fight hasn't started yet, right? Um, so that's one. Firstly, right? It's good timing for it. Secondly, you're looking at your teammates. Nano Reinhardt's probably your best bet, right? What would there be any better alternatives to Nano Ryan?
Maybe overclock, but we're
Yeah.
not halfway there yet.
Yeah, maybe overclock. Not there yet, and honestly, like Nano Reinhardt might just even be more just more consistent, anyways. So you'd have to find a really good situation for the overclock. Maybe on like third point where it's a lot more open and there's like high ground and stuff like that, right? But here Reinhardt's best. Should you like timing wise? You want to be nanoing your Reinhardt when he's close to the enemy team. Because if he's all the way back here and you nano him, then it's going to take him 1, 2, 3 seconds to get to them. And in that time, they just sped away. So you end up wasting half the ultimate. But if he's right there, then he can just run in and start swinging on stuff immediately and start getting value out of it. Additionally, he's also low HP in a second here, right? So you would find a lot of value out of nanoing him here, remembering that ults used first are better than ults used second, generally speaking. And you also don't want to hold on to your ultimate, because it has now, if we don't use it, I think we have not used it for 2 fights before this. So this would be 3 fights if we didn't use it during this fight. So right here, now he's critical anytime here. This, if we nano him, then we can go in and put our healing focus into our other teammates who are critical at the moment. So we have a lot of critical teammates. This would be a very easy way to kind of balance this out. So doing this earlier means that maybe you can heal up the Zen quicker. Okay. So we nano Reinhardt. But the problem is that the problem is that we kind of nano a little bit after they're already spread out, and then our Reinhardt, and then maybe it wasn't communicated well because our Reinhardt was backing up as we nanoed him. So maybe give him a 3, 2, 1. I'm nanoing you, or like just so it's communicated and you know. Why do you end up dying here?
Because I was pushed too far forward from my teammates and then I got walled away.
Yeah, so cover, positioning, being further closer to walls, being further back, things like that.
I still have hello. We can't move until the payload. I won't let you fall. Sword for your wound.
Okay. Good job line of sighting the enemies there. Watch your reload. Right now we're sitting on 1 ammo. Right on the bottom right there. So getting into habits of reloading every time there's nothing to do.
Taking care of you.
Okay. I think we've talked about this before, maybe. When you're about to cap point and they're able to touch, where is the one place the enemy team needs to be?
On the payload.
On the payload. Therefore, where's the most dangerous place for you to be standing?
On the payload.
On the payload, right? Right. Makes sense. So probably don't want to be like right here. Just because this standing right here, we also kind of stand still, so that could get you domed in the head by a melee icicle. So could easily die here, get ulted. They're charging in. We're kind of like in the middle of it. Whereas where should you be?
Either where the Hanzo is or the other side.
Yeah. So
Those walls.
either over here or over here. Yeah, I'd say that's about right. Yep. Maybe like yeah, I agree. Probably either or. Maybe being over here doesn't give you line of sighting a Reinhardt, so over by Hanzo, this would probably be just as good as any. You could potentially be a little bit further back, but really either or works. And then you got fed up with Zen in your face, yeah.
Ready for battle. Ready for battle. Five, four, three, two, one. Attackers incoming. Defend objective. Don't fret.
Okay, good starting spot. Interesting wall.
He's not our usual DPS player.
Yep.
He's a support. He just got kind of tossed into that role.
Yep.
Okay.
Understandable.
I needed that. Taking care of you.
Alright. So we are right here. And we see Doomfist is going high ground. Okay. So knowing that, and then even after that, after he goes high ground, we see that he drops. Okay. Knowing this information, knowing that he went high ground and he has the access to drop out of this way, and this way, where should we be positioned now? And then after knowing that it's the same way, either if he's on high ground or after we know that he's dropped over here, where should we be going?
Probably back in hotel.
Yeah, you're right. Because putting yourself over here just puts you closer to him, right? And isolates you from your team. Standing right here is out in the open. So hotel puts you further inside of your team, puts you away from the Doomfist, and gives you cover away from the enemy team, right? gives you a health pack to work with. So cover, 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 away from enemies, but instead we kind of run towards the danger. So in a lot of these fights, very easily preventable deaths that are kind of happening first. And then that's in a lot of these cases, that's going to be your impact on losing those fights.
Let me help you with that. Here, take this. Shield's buckling.
Okay, good job blocking it. Okay. And then your whole team kind of gets rolled. Could throw a health pack or two. Try to line his sight the rest of the enemy team, but besides that, I think you all kind of get rolled at the same time. Okay, one more touch.
Looking better already.
Uh-oh.
That was unfortunate.
Mm-hmm. Okay, just gotta watch the punch and that's game. Okay. So lots of positioning, lots of survivability, right? Staying alive to do things. We have we gone in depth on survivability before?
A little bit, I
A
believe.
little bit. I mean, I can give you the refresher crash course on it, and we can hop into the next code here. But refresher crash course on survivability is that no duh, deaths are bad. Everybody knows deaths are bad, but deaths are probably even worse than people usually give it thought to. Like everyone knows deaths are bad, but deaths are actually really really bad. In fact, when you're dying, right, that's going to be time that you are out of fights. So it's about 10 seconds per death for respawn time, and then it's going to be like 10 seconds to walk back to the fight, which is approximately 20 seconds a death. So if we, in that last game, I actually didn't count, maybe I should have, but in that last game, let's say we died like, I don't know, like 10 times in a 10-minute game, and we have like a death per minute rate, something like that. If you died 10 times, 10 times 20 divided by 60 for minutes, that would mean that in that 10-minute game, we spent 3 minutes and 20 seconds dead, which is approximately a third of the entire game, right? Which is a lot of time to be dead for. Across multiple different games, that's entire minutes of gameplay that you're doing absolutely nothing. That in 3 minutes you can be getting like 2 nano boosts. That's enough time to get a lot of abilities, a lot of ultimates, a lot of healing, a lot of damage. Just in terms of raw stats, you're able to do so much significantly more if you're alive more. Additionally, it's not just the fact that you're not existing, it's also the fact that you being dead is actively a disadvantage for your team. It's actively negative value when you die. It's not just no value, it's negative value. So when you die, that's your impact on your team losing the fight, because since you're dead, they're going to be more likely to lose that fight. It's a 5v4. They're at a disadvantage. So that just means that like when you die, that's your impact. That's what you did to lose that fight. So if you are dying much, much less, then you're able to do more. You're able to practice more. You're able to actively leave a neutral to positive impact on fights. There's just so many different reasons why staying alive is really good. Therefore, it's a good idea to identify why you die and try to figure out why you die and try to not die. That's all stuff that we talked about on day one. We talked about how to identify mistakes, and that's what we've even been walking through, like during that game, that replay was, okay, you just died there. Why did you die? Right? Don't just stop with the mistake. Continue and ask, what's the issue within the mistake? What's the solution? How can we apply that? So the common thread so far with survivability, what would you say the common thread with survivability seems to be?
Like positioning.
Yeah, probably positioning where you're standing. What if you had to give like a number two? What would be a number two reason why you're dying?
Mm, awareness or like proximity for my teammates.
Yeah, proximity to teammates would probably still be positioning, it's just a different part of positioning. But yeah, I'd probably say awareness, right? Like we don't notice the bat bolt in front of you, right? That sort of thing, right? But all that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions on it?
No.
No. Okay.
Let's go, everyone.
I have you. Keep fighting.
Great anti-nade. Really nice. Like they were using it aggressively.
I won't let you.
Last game, I think we kind of like, in like that second half, I think we kind of stopped using it aggressively.
The objective is now
This is not me.
Oh, this is circuit. I went to the Ana. Whoopsie. Thank you for catching that. Otherwise, we might have been there for a minute. Oh, well, good bash, anyways. Good block.
Sending care your way.
Uh-oh. Yeah, just gotta keep eyes open. See that there's like, 4 people there. Just remember you're not a tank, so you got to be very careful. Shield up, back up. If the Ana's 1 HP, hopefully your teammates can finish her off, but it's never good to suicide for a kill. So always focus on prioritize staying alive over securing a kill.
Special delivery.
Uh-oh. Okay, so we're dying again, right? So it's like number 2. What's the issue there?
Pushing ahead of my team.
Yeah, so just a little bit of an aggressive bash. Don't know if it's intentional bash or not.
Won't hold much longer.
Maybe it's an accident, but assuming it's intentional, just a little bit over aggressive. Just gotta watch it. Actually, I want to watch. We've never talked about Lucio before, right?
No, we have not.
I'm not. Do,
And I've been
do you-
playing him a lot recently
All right, cool.
because our Lucio player hasn't been playing for like the past 2 weeks, so
Yeah.
they're like, you get to
Mhm.
play Lucio.
Yep. Okay. Go to amp heals.
Actually on fire.
Nice kill.
Amp up this beat.
Okay, good amp heals. Alright, let's do the crash course Lucio. How to play Lucio, since you're kind of new to the character. Firstly, let's just do basics of heal versus speed. When should you heal? When should you speed? Healing comes when healing is needed. So whenever you actually, like, it's with healing and speed, it's kind of a little bit different. Healing comes when healing is really needed. So like if you have people who are critical and really in danger. And whenever speed is not needed. Speed comes anytime healing is not needed. So if nobody needs healing, then you don't necessarily need it. And then also, anytime your team is moving from point A to point B, that could be that your team is pushing in, you're backing out, you could be chasing someone, you could be running away, you could be rotating from here to there. Anytime you or your teammates are going from point A to point B, you're on speed, right? So like I said, that could be as simple as I'm going from here to there, so I'm going to speed over and then swap to healing, right? Anytime you're going from point A to point B, you're on speed, right? So you're just going to swap back and forth. Anytime you're sitting still and we're just kind of sitting in this area, so our team's just chilling here, we're on heals. So you can just grind up healing and ult charge and stuff like that, right? That's the basics between the two. Amping is going to be the exact same. It's just whenever you need extra speed or extra healing. So if you have a bunch of teammates who are critical, amp heals, right? For amplified healing. So multiple people need healing quickly. Someone needs burst healing. That's when you amp heals. If your team's trying to get from point A to point B quickly, so you're trying to catch up and chase someone down, trying to run away from an ultimate, trying to run in with an ultimate, trying to get on top of them quickly, those are all times where amp speed might be necessary, right? Let's talk real quick about wall riding, because it looked a little clunky, so I'm going to give you the crash course on how you can wall ride easily. Firstly, when it comes to wall riding, is you want to be jumping constantly, right? You're basically just going to spam your jump button, right? That's step number 1, is spam jump button, right? Next, what you're going to do is you're going to hold W, right? You just hold forwards. You're not going to use, what you're not going to do is you're not going to go right, you're not going to go left, you're not going to go backwards. For the most part, you will, as you get better with it, as you get more advanced, you can start to implement those. But while you're starting off, I'd start with just W and jumping, right? And then you're going to move by moving your camera, right? That's how you're going to move around, right? And then as you do this, you're going to go and you're going to look, okay, we're jumping from one wall to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. And you're going to move with your camera, hold W, and spam the jump button. So it looks like this, right? And then we're going to go this. Maybe we can hold it for a second there. Okay, we go around. Okay, this, right? Where we're going from one little jump to the next little jump, and we can hold it when we're going around the corners, and then we jump, spamming the button, just moving with our camera. I have not pressed anything else besides the W button, right? Of course, like I said, you'll get more advanced as you go along, but you kind of get into issues like when you're like trying to wall ride and you're like holding forward and right, and then you kind of like that's when it gets like clunky and you're kind of like moving into the wall and you kind of get like stuck to the wall. It ends up being weird. So just hold W, hold forwards. Then besides that, look for stand near walls. So positioning wise in Lucio, you never want to stray too far from walls. You're going to be using walls a lot. So if we're standing right here, we can't use walls. So stand over near the wall. That way, if you're trying to go anywhere, if you're ever trying to go anywhere, you can just do a little hop, right? Look how much faster that is always with a speed boost, right? Look, if I'm doing this is super duper duper slow. If I'm doing this is still pretty slow, right? It's a little bit faster. But if I just do a little wall hop real quick, it gets me there much quicker because you get a speed boost off of the wall, right? So just use little wall hops, right? Get used to little wall hops. And then that's how, and then you can start chaining consecutive little wall hops, and that's gonna be how you wall ride is little wall hop, little wall hop, little wall hop, little wall hop, right? And then that's wall riding, right? Does that make sense? Any questions on any of that?
That makes sense.
Cool. Yep. You can even like just go around and like whenever you get the chance, just like practice it in the training range, right? While you're not in combat in an active scenario, go mess around with it. If you're wanting to practice it at all, a fun place to practice that might be in like let's see, there's like Lucio parkour custom games, I think out there that you can join, and they're like, or Lucio like racing or something like that, where you can where basically there's like the floor is lava type deal, and you're just trying to get from point A to point B. I don't know if you ever have done like Mercy parkour custom
Mhm.
games, but it's like that but with Lucio. So that's another place that you can practice that at. Let's see, is there anything else? Boop and melee. Boop has a range of like 7 meters. Is that what it is? 7 meters. So I can boop from here, but I can't boop if I go to like 9. Right, so it's like 7 meters. Your melee has a range of like 2 meters, 3 meters, 3 meters, something like that. When you are damaging on Lucio, a lot of your damage value is going to come through boops and melees, especially when you're right up on top of people. So you're going to go shoot, 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 boop, shoot, 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 melee, boop, boop, right? Shoot, 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 boop, melee, and that gives you extra value, extra burst value. Because if I landed a boom melee, or I guess that was out of order there, but that's gonna be 50 HP right there with a boom melee, right? That how you combo that. So that's a decent bit of their HP. If I land that combo, that's a kill. So we can swoop in and get kills by doing that. So what I'm just saying is implement boops and melees into your combat. Boot people if you're in combat with people. You can boot people up in the air because that allows for easier tracking because they're kind of stuck up there. Boot people into corners and walls and stuff like that. Boop has a lot of versatility and usage. You can use it to get enemies away from teammates, right? Let's say Roadhog hooks somebody, you can boop Roadhog away right as he's about to shoot, and then that ruins the ability. You can use it to ruin ultimates, right? Like let's say Reinhardt uses Shatter, you boop him up in the air, right? That ruins his ultimate. You can use it to boot people off the map. Obviously, everyone knows that one. But think about it in more than just map booping. You can use it to reposition people. So enemies on your teammates. Think of a flanker, like let's say a Reaper is on your backline. Boop him away. You have a 4-second cooldown on it. It comes back so quickly. Boop him away. He walks back in. You shoot him. You boop him away again. He's like never going to be able to get on your backline if you are just constantly booping him away, right? Because you can kind of contest him. Same thing with Tracer, Genji. Any flankers, you can just go boop, push them away. They try to come back in. You do the same thing again. It just contests them, puts a mark on them, makes it very difficult for them. Next comes is gonna come your damage playstyle. So as Lucio, you're obviously going to be doing healing, but you are also going to be running around and maybe trying to get some kills once in a while. That's gonna happen, and the way you do that, because you are very mobile, but you don't have very much burst damage, you are gonna be very similar to how like a Tracer would operate, in that you are an opportunist character. So what that means is that you're going to look for opportunities and then swoop in and capitalize on them with your mobility. Meaning you can, opportunities might be something like somebody's 1 HP, or there's a squishy who's off by themselves. Like let's say that's like a Zenyatta over by themselves, or this person's 1 HP. I can swoop in, right? This person's 1 HP. I guess let me do this, right? That person's 1 HP. I see that they're low HP. I swoop in, get the kill, and I'm out already, right? Because of your high mobility. It could be that somebody's really close to an edge. So once again, you see that you're waiting, you're watching, you're not getting aggressive. You see that they're close to the edge. You swoop in, you get the kill, and then you're backing out, right? I guess I missed. Oh, there we go. Right. So those are opportunities, and you're gonna look for those, and just poke in the meanwhile when you don't have those. Other small minor thing, tech stuff. You can drag your beats. So if I beat, notice I'm gonna beat, and then I'm gonna walk around the corner, and as long as it's within like a 1.5 seconds or so, they will still get the beat. So beats, and then I drag it, and it still applies to them. Are you familiar with what the number under your near crossfade means?
Yeah. So how many people are in it?
Yes, exactly. Yep. So that's another handy thing to keep your eye out for, is how many people are in it. I think that is a lot of it for Lucio. Any questions on anything?
No.
Nope. Okay. So that's just a lot of his crash course stuff. Hopefully he will now be easier to apply. We were just on Nepal.
Ready for battle.
Me forgetting I left my water in the other room. I did the same thing a month. There we go. Okay. So here, notice teammates are all the way ahead of us. Okay, so we are now going from point A to point B because we're catching up to our teammates. Our teammates, they're going from point A to point B because they're trying to run in aggressively. Therefore, we should be on speed, right? Not on heels. Okay, teammates, Reinhardt's trying to get aggressive with the shatter. Be on speed for him, right? It's very easy to swap back and forth. You don't want to spam it and just go heal. Like you can if you're trying to like dodge people, but that's advanced tech. I wouldn't worry about it for the moment. But it's very flexible. Don't be afraid to swap back and forth between them. Good job, Am, speeding away. That's what you should be doing right there. Okay, Reinhardt's low. You should be on healing. Good job. Okay, notice how we right now are going from point A to point B, and yet we're instead of being on speed, we're on heals. And instead of doing a little hop off the wall here to get over to cover quickly, or hop off this wall to hop off that wall, right? We're just kind of slowly walking through the open, right? Which just could end up in you getting absolutely shredded. Some of these times, right? We almost died. Take like half damage there. Good boop. Good melee. I like that. Very nice. All right. Cool. Nice. We get to see Lucio on the Sanctum. So you can see on your wall riding. Oh. Whoopsie.
We're supposed to TP first out of spawn. They have their strat, and they're like, I'm like, every time I'm like, are we TPing first?
That's funny.
But,
Yeah.
But
Okay, because there is so much boop potential on this map, there are going to be opportunities where you should, like, whenever your teammates don't need you, and the enemy team isn't looking at you, you should be kind of like roaming around looking for a boop, pretty much. So Roadhog just used hook, so we can right now be looking to swoop in, go in aggro. Your team's in aggro, so we can be kind of wall riding in, get aggressive with them. Good amp heals. Reinhardt's critical. You're down your other support. So this is right now. This is good to be on heals. Reinhardt's all the way over there. There you go. We're on speed. Back on heals. All right. Let's exit out. Let's talk about some wrap up stuff. Lucio, we only went over very briefly. I mean, like we went over like half the session, but a lot of it was just like just getting into him as a character. So what I'd say is to work on his basics. Work primarily when you're playing Lucio on wall riding mechanics and when should you heal, when should you speed. I'd say those are like the basics of Lucio. And then you can get into more other things as well, but I'd start with that because those are very important things to start off with. Wall riding and when to heal, when to speed. Make sense? Over on Ana. Yeah, okay. I think we were just on Ana. So Ability usage,
Leave a broken
um,
forest behind.
a lot of the same stuff of go for aggressive anti-nades. Don't chuck them when there's like nobody there. Don't throw it into shields. Same thing with sleeps. Don't hold on to them and never don't don't hold on to them if there's nothing to contest you. Use them liberally, which I think you were doing for the most part. So sometimes they ended up getting wasted.
That must
Try to
be
time it for when if there's a shield in your face, think of all the different ways that you can get around it. Wait for it to go break. Throw it to the left, to the right, over top, underneath. Wait for them to die. Throw it at somebody who's not who's not behind the shield. Wait if it's a Reinhardt or someone like that. Wait for them to run at you, and start swinging on you, and that's when they're gonna drop shield. Things like that. Overall, I don't think that your ability usage is the most pressing thing for the moment. Still definitely some work to be done on it, but I think that there's some other things that are more important for the moment. So overall, it's like a lower end of a medium for you to work on. Ult usage, use your ultimate beginning of fights, right? Is best. Don't hold on to it. Use it kind of when your Reinhardt's like going in and getting into the fray on top of people. And then overall, it wasn't too shabby. Besides that, so I'd say probably like around the same as ability usage, maybe like a tad bit lower. So like a lower end of a medium to higher end of a low to medium. Mechanics, watch overhealing, watch just kind of doing your spam shots, like as you kind of hold it down and you'll like spam shots when there's like nobody there or when people are full HP. So watch overhealing, watch people's health bars. And then we'll kind of just like sit on 3 ammo and walk around with it. So make sure you're watching it and reloading so you actually have ammo to work with. That's like mainly it. Overall, that one was probably also somewhere in the ballpark of a lower end of a medium. So all those are kind of very similar in where they go. Next comes positioning. That's the biggie, right? Positioning / survivability, I'll say, right? Survivability, big deal. Staying alive, very important, and that was closely tied to your positioning. Positioning, make sure you're using cover. There are a lot of times where you weren't using cover. Make sure that you are not too far pushed forwards. There are a lot of situations where we would like do this, where we would like our team's right here, and then we would and the enemy team like would be running into us. And we'd kind of just be like standing on top of our teammates instead of like putting a little bit of distance right behind your teammates, right? Doing something like this so that your teammates are on the front line, or even in some circumstances we would be pushed up. So either we would be pushed up on enemies a little too far, we would be standing right here when they're pushing, or there'd be like the Doomfist in the back line and you kind of like run and like stand right next to him, right? So there are a couple situations, right? So watch the over aggression. Watch cover. Make sure you're using cover. Good positioning is the usage of cover. Bad positioning is the absence of cover. Think about all the different check boxes that go into your positioning. Do I have cover? Can I see my teammates? Can the enemy team see me? Can I land my abilities effectively from where I'm at? Do I have a high ground? Things like that. And then I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I think that was the main stuff. It just seemed to come up a lot and be a lot of the reasons why you died. So that keeps it simple. The main stuff was cover, and don't go too far in, right? Stand behind your team, right? And that one was like a medium high priority. Next comes awareness. Awareness, pay attention to where is your team at? Where is the enemy team at? What are their health bars like? Remember, nade usage is when teammates are low and in danger. So watch danger levels and don't just use it when you see someone's a little bit low HP. You watch tab and press that in between every fight. Watch kill feed. Just lots of things to be aware of. Overall, that one was probably like a higher end of a medium or so. So to put that all in order, number 1 probably goes to positioning, and that's pretty concrete. That's going to be a big one to fix there. Number 2, you can probably put it awareness. Number 3 goes to your ability usage, then mechanics, then your ultimate. Any final questions?
No, I don't think so.
No, you don't think so? Okay. Cool.